Welcome back to Hunter x Hunter Anime Review, special number 10. Yep. Yeah, I finally bring back this one. Well, mainly because there was no chapters out. Yeah, first chapter released in 6 months. Last chapter review was about a few months ago. It took me a little while to finally review it, but yeah. Here's news chapter. By the way, there's only like maybe 2 characters I recognize the entire chapter because the whole chapter is made up of characters I don't remember these people's names and I don't recognize them at all. There's one familiar face. If you watch the anime, you know exactly who this character is. Everybody else, I have no idea who the heck these people are because it's been a little while since I've actually read this series. Excuse me. Also, gotta love this cover art done by Tagashi. Yeah, of 3 of the main 4 characters. Leorio, Gon, Killua, and that's it. Too bad Kurapika is not on the cover. Nope. And they kind of have a new popularity poll. I'm kind of like, it's been like 6 months and now we have a popularity poll? Okay, fine. The chapter opens up on Deck 3 of the big ship. Like, how many decks are on this ship? Deck 3, Central Police Station. We have one of the hunters. I don't remember this guy's name. He basically looks like one of those black and white cows. Yeah, wearing like a hat. I'm not sure if he's green because this guy never in the anime. Never did because the guy appeared later on. He's interrogating a woman who wants to talk to the 10th Prince Kacho. It's been a little while since I read it. And then we see a familiar face. I know exactly who this character is just by looking at her. It's Melody! First time in a few chapters we've seen this character, where she's asked to come down to see one of the princes, I think it's one of 2 female princes. Yeah, because of some other tight security stuff. Oh, in case you're wondering, Kurapika is nowhere in this chapter. As a matter of fact, the guy has been absent for the past 5 chapters, like 5 or 6 chapters. I'm not sure why in the world that the writer tends to keep him out of the series. I mean, he's a familiar face. People know who Kurapika is, and he's absent. There's like no explained reason why. I mean, he's not like in another room. They don't say he's like. In one chapter, he was actually knocked out, and that basically was one of the hiatuses that the book went on. And explaining he collapsed from being counted by a Nen Beast. And then we have Melody. Yeah, Melody playing the flute for one of the princes, and she really loved it. Yes, and I think this is supposed to be. Leorio. Yeah, I think it is just by looking at him. I think this is supposed to be Leorio. I'm hoping that Shonen Jump doesn't copyright this video because I show up 2 panels of the manga. Yep, Leorio. First time in quite a while. I don't remember the last time I actually seen this guy in the manga. I mean, it's probably been a good 20 chapters maybe. I think the last time probably anybody's seen this guy is maybe probably toward the start of this particular arc. This arc was going on for quite a while. It's been going on for about 30 chapters maybe. We see Leorio and Melody just walking, have a good conversation. We see briefly outside the ship. We see Melody arrive at a room with, I think this is supposed to be one of the guys. Apparently they're basically have the backs to one of the princes who's got 2 women in this bed with him. Yeah, so we have a prince, they have a 3-way. Okay? They have this really long conversation in their heads about Nen stuff and stuff like that. Show up this old Nen stuff. And the prince is like impressed, and we see like a Nen Beast. And apparently this Nen Beast just eats a fly. And I think he's supposed to take out a fly just above this particular prince's bed. I'm like, did he get busy or something like that? I'm not really sure. Because the area around his bed is a mess. Yeah, it's a mess. And he seems very happy with it. And then we see one of his bodyguards calling somebody. And they have like a brief conversation. They said, and this other guy, I think his name is like, Usagi changed ships with lead Prince Sail Cell's Nen Beast has been eliminated. Roger. And the chapter ends as a day 5, Wednesday, 8 p.m. 104 hours since departure, 72 hours until the banquet. 8 p.m. Sunday. Okay. This was not a bad chapter. It's still okay. I still enjoy reading it. It's just that, well, I like the fact that it's slowly progressing forward this particular arc, but it just feels like nothing much happens. You see Mel doing a performance, have a conversation with Leorio, who's got a slightly different hairstyle. I mean, I look at him, yeah, it's Leorio, because he dresses in a nice suit. He's probably by far the only one of the 4 characters who actually bothers to wear a suit and tie. Yeah, almost every time you see him, he's always wearing a suit and tie, though he usually does take off a suit once in a while, but generally he's in a suit and tie a lot of the time. It's always great to see him, and I have to basically look it up later on, like how long it's been since I've seen him, because it's been quite a while. I think last time I may have seen him was probably for the second most recent hiatus, the one before this most recent one. That's probably maybe the last time I've seen him, but it's been a while. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, for a manga that's taken 6 months to come back, waiting 6 months next chapter, because, well, the creator just loves doing these strange hiatuses. And yes, I do know about the 2-year hiatus he did during the Chimera Ant arc. This arc has been going on for roughly a few years now, and I have heard that he does want to end the series, and he does want the anime to come back. I would probably say that maybe we might get 1 season out of this entire manga. Yeah. I mean, the thing ended with the election arc. As far as I can tell, there's been roughly just a little over 40 chapters released since the end of the election arc. So maybe we could get probably a brief season. My personal guess, the amount of chapters released, probably about 6-7 episodes, maybe if they're lucky. If I were them, I would just maybe do like 1 to 2 chapters per episode. Because the way it's been for the past few chapters, it's just been lots and lots of dialogue. I was kind of hoping to see the Phantom Troop in this arc, in this chapter, but they're nowhere to be seen. Yeah, I'm like, they were seen last chapter, when last chapter came out 6 months ago, and they're not here. There's no explanation of why they're not here at all. Biscuit is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, it's weird of how this particular chapter is. Yeah, but that's where it is. I might get this chapter roughly 8.5 out of 10. It's a bit of a step down from the way it was from the last chapter. And also, Togashi, what the heck is up with these one-word titles? Seriously, I would say the last 10 chapters have had one-word titles. Yeah, and this chapter is called Predation. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. It's called Predation. That is the name of the chapter. I don't know why, just that it is. And as of right now, there's only about 19 chapters away from chapter number 400. One thing I'm hoping, though, I hope before he does next hike, I'm sure he's probably going to do another one. Please, for the love of God, do it after you do chapter 400. I mean, I've also heard some people really want him to stop doing the artwork because of all these dumb hiatuses, because he loves doing the writing. Like, people have suggested maybe the writer of Tokyo Ghoul, what was his name? I have to look him up on here. He also did the Hitsuga one-shot. I've heard his name pronounced a different way. It's Su Ishida. Yeah, people do want him to take over the artwork for this series because people love the Hitsuga one-shot. I know that I talked to people at Comic-Con yesterday. People pronounce him a little differently than how I do it. The way I pronounce it is how they pronounce his name in the 2011 dub for Hunter x Hunter. They did kind of correct me on that. They knew who I was talking about. but I know they kind of pronounce his name a little differently. But I've heard several people pronounce his name this way. Oh, in case you're wondering, he's nowhere in this chapter. Yeah, would I personally like it if the artist of Tokyo Ghoul takes over the artwork for Hunter x Hunter? I personally wouldn't mind it at all. The guy is a great artist. I wouldn't mind it at all. It would be one of like a handful of series I could think of where the writer and artist are two different people. The only other series I can think of that have done this and actually had tremendous success with it, Death Note, A Comic Got Kill, and Huari Got Crush. Yeah, that's one of the spin-off books from Comic Got Kill. But yeah, not many of them basically have done this where the writer and artist been two different people. Oh, just recently, the Fairy Tale Century Quest. That is basically with the writer and artist two different people. No, it's the creator doing the series with that one and different artist. Yep. Otherwise, that's really it for this particular review. Stay tuned next week for special number 11, where I'm hoping to cover chapter 382, and hopefully something a little bit more happens aside from progressing a lot of talking. Yeah, but that's the thing with the past several chapters, because the writer, Tagashi, puts in a ton of dialogue. It took me a little while to get through this thing. Yeah. Alright, so that's it. So, I probably will not get a chance to do 7 Deadly Sins today. I'm probably just going to go back to watching what was before watching Gintama. And hopefully I'll do a review of 7 Deadly Sins tomorrow, along with a review of the newest episode of One Piece, because I'm sure that new episode already came out this week. And hopefully this season of Gintama. Yep. I'll do the next review. Bye.